Hey, good morning, everyone. It's very nice to be back here. Now, I don't know if we are going to be like the undertakers today because we got tasked with teaching you accounting standards. So we had a long talk this morning on how we're actually going to do the presentation, and we strategized last night. How will we make this very informative to you, and what is it that we want you to achieve for this morning? So guess what we did? We took away all your slides and we rechanged everything around. Okay? Because apparently there was a very good speaker who was here last year and who went through accounting standards in a lot of detail for you. So we said, you know what, we're not going to bore you, and we know you need to get to your office. So what we actually did was we took all those slides that you have in front of you and we've consolidated it into a different set of slides and expectations on what we should be, what are the current issues facing the profession, what it is that you should look out for. So we will indirectly cover all those slides in detail. But having said that, what we're going to do in the afternoon, if you have any specific technical issues on any of the accounting standards or anything in those slides, we will then deal with it on a Q&A answer. So for all those people who are also tuning in, if you have any questions, you start typing it out now, and then we'll get them while the AGM is happening. And then in the afternoon session, we'll tackle specific issues relating to what you're dealing with. Yes. Okay, so on the WhatsApp group, WhatsApp it to Essie, and we'll take questions in the afternoon. So we're going to integrate everything for you this morning, okay? I think one of the issues that we face when we do IFRS updates is everybody says, not another boring IFRS update. Like how much more compliance do we need? What is the value of it? What am I taking out of it? What is the link to, if a computer is doing everything, why do I need to actually understand accounting standards, etc.? So we're here to reflect with you this morning on what are the risks in your area of professional judgment, what it is you need to look out for as your role as an accountant in applying these accounting standards, what are some of the issues that you might face if you're actually negligent in the application of the accounting standards, etc. Okay, so how it works is that Prof. Small is going to be the lead speaker today, and I'll add in parts where I feel it's necessary for more elaboration. And the slides will also be made available to you. But like I said, it's a combination of all the slides in the pack. So if you could just put up that presentation that says Namibia, and we'll start with that presentation, please. Thank you. Okay.
Good morning, people. I think Yaeesh said it. We do stuff differently. We disruptors in the accounting profession. I know you spoke about standards, that you need to try and maintain standards. I can tell you why only 500,000 people look at the accounting standards, because the accounting standards are principles-based rather than rules-based. So therefore, what happens in terms of the accounting standards per se is that a lot of people say that with the Fourth Industrial Revolution, accountants' jobs are being taken. There's articles out that will say it's 95% of accountants will no longer have jobs, etc. I always tell people something differently, because I'm a human capital developer. I say technology and IT and digitization as artificial intelligence, but we as people have real intelligence. And that is what I do. I develop real intelligence in the accounting profession. So what we're going to do with you is we're going to speak about IFRS and the accounting standards, but also more in terms of what role you have in terms of fulfilling your responsibility as professionals in the accounting arena. How many of you value your signature? Everyone, that when people come to me and they ask me to sign documents, they tell me I got $1 million signature. Because that's, and I told them, please, you're wrong. I've got $1 billion signature. Because that is how much I value my signature. And the reason why you should value your signature, because it speaks about who you are. And when you look at who you are, it covers those four areas. First of all, as professional accountants, can I ask a question? How many of you, your focus is to serve your clients? Wrong. Your first responsibility is to serve the public interest. You are serving people who are out there. That's your responsibility. And you'll see globally the accountancy profession is in a mess and the threat because we are worried about serving our clients rather than serving the public interest. So we have a responsibility to serve the public interest because we are the drivers of economies. So if you're only going to serve your client, you're not contributing to the economy. Then you must say, let IT take over my responsibility as a professional.
I think also when you look at the concept of public interest, you must understand that us as accountants have a very important elevated role to play in society, is that society plays a certain level of trust and confidence in us. So if you look at it, what is the trust and confidence is that if we actually have to give an opinion, when you talk about a signature, if we had to tell everyone that tomorrow the bank is going to go under, you must understand that based on our status or our position in the economy, everybody will go to the bank and draw their money out. Do you understand it? That is why we say accountants have an elevated social status. So building onto the concept of public interest, what do we mean by public interest? We basically mean it's the net benefits for society. You must understand that. Because if we're actually looking only at clients, we're actually not looking at the net benefits of society, which means that if we start applying accounting policies to our business or to our clients' businesses or start looking at the owner's lifestyle versus the success of the business, you do understand you find a risk where the employees might actually be unemployed, the client might not have a business, creditors might not be paid, debtors might actually go elsewhere because you might not be able to supply your stock. It's part of an ecosystem. So public interest basically means everybody needs to benefit. And when you talk about that benefit, you talk about it in terms of what we call the business model and using all the capitals of a business to benefit society. Okay? So that's where we're heading with the concept of public interest this morning.
I think the second area that you need to focus on is the code of conduct. And I think you'll see that it's being placed more and more upon professional bodies to self-regulate by enforcing code of conduct, which includes ethical behavior. Okay? Now, if you sign your signature to a set of financial statements, you are telling the users out there, I complied with my ethical behavior, I complied with my code of conduct, which we'll speak about in much more detail. And then secondly is, the third function is that in terms of the engagement standards. I know when people were studying, I think the only engagement standards that you were taught about was the ISA, isn't it? Auditing standards. Yet, globally, you speak to any people in auditing, especially the big four, they'll tell you that we now diversify because the auditing profession is dying. And I always tell people, very simply, for me, auditors